Yeah, that's perfect. Can you hear me there at the back? Yes? Yeah. Enough is enough! Please, Julian, now! I would like to acknowledge, first of all, that I live and work on Australian land. I pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land, elders past, present, and emerging. Sovereignty was never ceded. It always was, and it always will be Aboriginal land. Thank you so much. My name is Vinnie Molina. I'll be speaking today on behalf of the Communist Party of Australia. And I thank the organisers for inviting me to speak at this important rally, calling for the freedom of Julian Assange on such significant day when the world commemorates another anniversary of the horror of Hiroshima and Nagasaki 77 years ago. Never again.
Never again!
The CPA campaigns for the freedom of Julian Assange and has passed resolutions calling on Australian governments to make a strong representations to ensure Assange, as an Australian citizen, is brought back home. We must retain Assange back home. And resolutions are good as long as they're not buried, as long as they're acting on. And we must demand the resolutions are acting on. Personally, many CPA members and supporters have written messages to Prime Minister Albanese to secure Assange's freedom by directly contacting the US and UK counterparts. But enough is enough.
Enough!
That was the views expressed by the Prime Minister when he was in opposition. We all agree with these views. And now we demand action to be taken for his release. Enough is enough. Free Assange now!
Free Assange now!
Julian Assange, as a journalist and a publisher, never committed a crime. We, the people, have the right to know. And Assange and WikiLeaks allow the people of the world to learn about some of the atrocities and other shortcomings committed by the United States and other governments behind people's backs. Shame!
Shame!
The release of documents provided to WikiLeaks didn't harm anyone, but it did show normal citizens like you and me what was committed in the name of freedom. In keeping the truth captured by secrecy, our governments are taking us for granted. This morning, we also thank Julian Assange for his great sacrifice for freedom of press and the right for us to be informed rather than misinformed like every single day happens on the news. They misinform the people. The harm and pain caused to Assange and his family is also a painful experience to all of his supporters and the truth itself. For as long as Assange continues to be in prison awaiting extradition to the United States, facing a possible sentence of up to 175 years, the truth will continue to be captive as well. The campaign for Julian Assange has resonated abroad stronger than in his own homeland. Internationally, Assange is a hero of the peoples. Activists, parliamentarians, governments, trade unionists, we all wear one hat in the fight for his freedom and against his extradition. We all should be wearing that single hat for Assange freedom and release. Here at home, the campaign needs more players. We need trade unions, like my own, the powerful CFMEU, despite being under attack himself with the special legislation against construction workers and prosecution of workers and the union officials by the Australian Building and Construction Commission, the ABCC. My union has recently passed a resolution for the freedom of Julian Assange. The CFMEU National Conference resolution stated, Julian Assange is innocent. His work as journalist ensures people's right to know. No crime was ever committed. The CFMEU conference calls on the Australian government to bring Julian Assange back to Australia and for his immediate release. This morning, we joined the Prime Minister in saying enough is enough.
Enough!
We demand the ALP federal government gets into action, given this the urgent required. New Independent Senator for the ACT, David Pocock, expressed his views, saying that there is a real need to resolve this with appropriate agency. While diplomacy won't work, in fact, it's a crime. Silence is not an answer. Taken to the streets with megaphones like we're going to do today in the hand, we can make our voices heard. It is time for all good-hearted people to chant, enough is enough. Free Assange now, free the press. Free Assange now, free the press. Free Assange now, free the press. Thank you.